I think the main difference we're going to see here today is the fact that you have Kanail, who's mostly been on Ana, so Juno Ana being the comp for VP as an identity, versus One Man Army like to play Dongan on the Brig. So their identity has been way more geared towards. By the way, if you want to know who the One Man Army is, it's Dongan. So Reinforced and I, Johnny and I, we discussed that yesterday on the coach stream. We identified that he is in fact the One Man Army. When this guy rallies, it's scary.
Okay,
it is genuinely scary.
How do you do Top Dragon like that?
Yeah,
Top Dragon.
He's on a May. Honestly, that's
he's on a May, and it's like, you know, it's harder to carry. But just Dongan's been crazy on the break so far. Speed ring, and you just run through that thing with a rally. It's disgusting. So that's I think you got to watch out for Top Dragon. Though when he goes towards the Echo, though, that's when things get really deadly. And
well, even on Farah yesterday, we saw him. Like, I mean, he's fragging out no matter what hero you actually put him on, and he's definitely one to shut down. You can't leave him unchecked. I think generally this roster has done so very well this season. We've seen them prior to that, prior to adding, you know, Top Dragon and Donghun, and I feel like both these additions, they've done a lot for the team. They're not the favorite to win this, so the viewer prediction, you know, keeping it real. But we have to remember the last bout was very, very closely fought. Like, that was a very close match.
I think this is a little, you know, the fans are obviously going to go for the team that they know a little bit better here. One Man Army are definitely underdog in terms of their reputation, but based on what we saw in yesterday's game, I think it's going to be a close game. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a 5-mapper again or something close to that.
Well, let's hope for a banger and get the show started. VP going up against a one-man army.
Thank you very much. Yeah, look, One Man Army to me feel like next up in terms of attracting the attention of you know, like a big organization to maybe jump into EMEA. They've looked very, very good, and they've also improved drastically. This map pool is slightly different, but we have Lijiang, Aiken Volda, and Runasapi as our first three. So that is the same as the last time these two teams played.
I mean, I'll tell you what, the One Man Army is I think they're an org of their own right in some regards, because they actually have Dongan and Top Dragon in Europe somewhere, so they're playing on low ping. So these guys are not just in Korea on high ping, which is probably why you see Dongan and Top Dragon being able to do what they can do and carry where they need to be able to. And, you know, so he is right about Top Dragon, but the reason why I bring up the Echo is because Sauna is likely to play Fire at some point, and Top Dragon needs to be in a position to play the Echo against that, and that's what he's been able to do. Shut Sauna down. One other thing that's going to be interesting in this matchup is what is Rajaro going to do, because we discussed in the earlier game, even versus EXO, with the things got a little bit tricky on the first two maps, Mitch. Rajaro looking much better on the Diva, and I think where these two teams got really close is in the Ram mirror, which Theomatic wants to play. So we'll see how many times Rajaro wants to get baited. I don't want to say, maybe not baited, but just wants to get forced in this Ram matchup. Control Center, though, Mitch, is where you do want to play Ram.
Yeah, and we do get the Echo versus Farah head-to-head here. Ramacha definitely the flavor on this map. No two ways about it. Playing Diva here feels like a little bit of a throw at times. Good damage on Rajaro, though. Eventually, Theomatic, though, will be forced to give a little bit of ground back. That's Top Dragon playing for the very fringes of the map, hoping that he can maybe catch the Farah out in the open, but Sauna's playing with the rest of the team.
He's literally just preventing Sauna. He's marking the coast because he knows Sauna on the fire wants to play coast. So he's just preventing good angles for Sauna. So this is a really great read from Top Dragon. Unfortunately, they all win, rather lose the neutral. Top Dragon, the only one alive because he wasn't really part of the fight. So he did his job, but Virtus.pro just say, regardless of where Sauna is, we're going to have our fireman ready to go.
Now, unfortunately, that locally, the damage was way better for Virtus.pro. They had Sauna, you know, in their main sort of phalanx. Whereas Top Dragon couldn't, you know, blow cooldowns, get in, get assassinations. That wasn't his job there, but perhaps it should have been. One Man Army here again looking to group up.
I mean, once he knows where Sauna is, he doesn't just have to play the coast anymore. He needs to be in a defined position where he can look for that blow up. And speaking of which, Dongan just annihilated.
Yeah, that was Rajaro finding him this time. Top Dragon also getting poked down from outside of the map. And Sauna says, I don't need to play out in the open. I don't need to play against the Echo. Oh, this could be a bad stagger, yeah. No Nemesis form cooldown for Theomatic, so he will be in the next wave.
And now you have ultimate advantage here as well, so bad to worse, unfortunately. At least Top Dragon can be a little bit annoying on that coast side. But even then, he can't really flank. He's not able to really push it because VP are in position to maybe contest him as well. So straight through the main gates. Virtus.pro actually respected. They kind of give up the spawn camp here.
I mean, the Ana is a big point of difference, right? You mentioned that Kanail has that preference to go to this pick when possible, which gives you access to the Bionades and also a nano boost for either Sauna, who wants to go in ult, or just Rajaro, who wants to pound faces. So here's Sauna, gets the nano, and the barrage comes out. A little bit occluded by some of the geometry here. The Top Dragon is going to be knocked out of Duke form. Big damage, though, on Virtus.pro. One Man Army are going for it, but they get their beam a little bit later. The Ray Gets used by Virtus.pro, and Rajaro will turn this now into a big stagger opportunity once more with an annihilation.
Which could be just the round win right here, because you're looking at percentage. It's nearly 90%. If he gets another kill, which he does not, that could be the map, but rather the round. Oh, Evo's dead. That can't happen. That cannot happen. One-man army. This is now the last fight, and you're down one.
Evo was out towards Coast there, I think, just got caught out, maybe hoping to sneak back behind, but you're May. You don't have a way to contest. Switch over towards the Tracer for Avo, and it makes sense. They need to try and keep this round going. They do get Top Dragon on the point, but instantly he just gets turned on by the remainders of Virtus.pro. And a Blizzard here will give a frosty reception to anyone from a one-man army trying to keep the round going. It's just going to be thematic now. At least joined by the Juno, but the damage is good. Cloud connecting some of those ice spikes, and Gala is able to finish the job. Didn't quite escape, though, from the questing fists of a thematic. But that's it. No one left for a one-man army. And a comfortable shutout for Virtus.pro.
I mean, that's just really well played by Sauna. He's never actually trying to 1v1 Top Dragon because he knows that's a losing battle. You don't want to do that as a lone fire versus an Echo. So he gives up Coast. He plays front line with the rest of his team. Full front-to-back gaming coming through Virtus.pro. They just focus on the 5v4. And you notice in that first neutral, again, that Top Dragon never actually committed onto any fights. He was just long-range spamming, you know, his left click and also the stickies. But that's just way worse neutral poke damage. And Sauna had way better poke damage throughout the entire round there, and once you get into a spawn camp situation, you're just spamming rockets through that small chokeway, that small door. You're not playing Coast either. Top Dragon can't flank. He's not opting to flank, and one-man army were just stuck there for so long, and then the stagger onto Avo, that's what really just nailed it.
It's one of those rounds where you feel like you're a spectator for most of the time. Nothing really going in favor of a one-man army at all. So now again, it will have Top Dragon on the Echo, so still airborne elements to both these comps that don't have divas, so expect Sauna and Top Dragon to look to continue to have a large effect, an outsized effect on these fights, and Top Dragon might need to shift gears or at least change that hierarchy of priority in terms of how they play.
Interesting choice from Najara. He could have gone the Diva here. That would have been really good. It would help Sauna. It would put pressure on the Top Dragon. You also have to contend with the fact that you can't matrix the focusing being from Top Dragon's Echo, but that's one of the problems.
That is such good damage. And Donglin again. I mean, like I mentioned before, playing Brig against Farah is absolutely bloody miserable. It is so unfun. You just can't do a whole lot, and frankly, she's getting always splash damage around your shield, especially in a moment like that where you're not even looking at her. You can't really interact with her at all as Brig, either way.
Well, you need Top Dragon to be marking Sauna way better. Unfortunately, Sauna's playing super safe with his own team, so Top Dragon can only do so much. Donglin just needs to make sure he's not in a position where he's copping rockets, because it does take Sauna some type of flanking maneuver, as we did see, to kind of do that.
What are you
Get that
doing?
damage. Gala! Oh no, he wants to duel an Echo, and you lose.
That is just a moment of rascality from Gala. And kind of a bit of a throw, if I'm honest with you. Virtus.pro still with 4 to work with, though. But again, they have no Juno. Yeah. Okay. Well, now we've learned. Top Dragon's still a threat in the 1v1.
That's going to significantly put Gala behind. Okay, he gets his revenge, so that's nice. But he's still behind an ult charge unless Sauna just converts and one-man army are down to 3.
Yeah, and there's just no world where the orbital ray just gets any value here. So now Gala can make up for that deficit. Well, at least for the most part. Alpha does a fair bit of healing on account of their team being turned into hamburgers.
All of that early momentum from one-man army. And now Alpha is going to get Orbital Ray at about the same time Gala is. Gala has a little bit more work to do, but maybe another kill to Top Dragon will secure it. Remember, the Duplicator is also really strong. He got a lot of great options. Anna has typically been a fantastic option for as a dupe target at all times, but yeah, Ram and May are also fantastic here.
All right, Diamatic. Out there keeping him in this game. Gala down again. Surely they weren't fighting this time. No, there's no way. I refuse to believe that happened again in exactly the same fashion. Doesn't make any sense. Sauna here pressing up. It was a nano from Kinale, but no way to use a bar.
Not bad.
Love it. I absolutely love that. Top Dragon with a bio, but they're in dupe, so they're playing with house money, so to speak. Kinale gets picked off, and we are all trying to fight the Echo, I see. Interesting strategy, Cotton.
Here he is again.
Hi, Gala. Bye, Gala.
Get him, son. Get him, son. Love that. Top Dragon with a clean 4K. Beautiful dupe on towards the May. Instant ice block to dodge a barrage. You couldn't have played that situation better. When the dice rolls well and the situation arrives for Top Dragon to be in a great position to make mincemeat of Virtus.pro, he does exactly that. And Sauna, okay, he's done with the fire now. He wants to play a little bit of the hit scan. Top Dragon might have to consider swapping off soon, unless he still continues to get value on the Echo. We'll see.
All right, well, there's Top Dragon also trying to take a fight there, but on the low ground, it's a Orbital Ray. Amo frozen. blown up here. Okay, Virtus.pro able to put it together. And Theomatic frozen inside Annihilation, but able to at least come out and make a fight of it. Fortunately, just him and Donghun, really. And they are 2 against the world, as it feels. A bit of a stack, a bit of extra percentage, but that's it.
Who's keeping score of the Scala versus Top Dragon duel, by the way? Because Scala just got another one on Top Dragon.
It's even then.
Consistently, just keep training each other. I think it's 2-2 now.
Yep.
So they're going to start typing in all chat at some point, so I'm going to make this public. But, yeah, these will look really close points, by the way, VP and One Man Army.
And Top Dragon, again, wants to play from this perch. We'll make sure if anyone from VP pushes out like this, it's very good damage. Free damage on towards Rajaro, who still wants to take a fight with that Annihilation. Dupe up for Top Dragon. And sees the Ramatra in the distance. That damage won't really account for too much, and now they have to be careful. We'll pick up the Mega, though. Allows them to play that aggressive position. And what's the purpose of this Annihilation? It's kind of hard to see how that's been part of the game plan. Sleep is good. Juno neutralized. Out of dupe now. Here comes the Bob. This is going to answer that pressure from a one-man army. Want to push up with their front line. Canale down to the sticky bombs. Top Dragon's had an outsized impact on this game in all phases of it, and it's still not been remotely enough to give a one-man army a map win. That is a straight 2-0 in rounds. Virtus.pro take Lijiang Tower.
A little bit sloppy towards the end there. I mean, one-man army, we were looking from Top Dragon's PO over the entire time. It looks like he wants to get some pressure on the point, maybe some back-end spam, but he's just not able to really help the rest of his team. So he has these moments where he just absolutely pops off, but another situation where you're getting towards it. Maybe that's just a team issue as well. Maybe I'm not specifically singling them out because one-man army are also, they're kind of caught in a weird fight in the, you know, the hallway area on the opposite side of the point, which
as like an annihilation there, right?
It's like,
yeah,
you know, we're getting into the real deep end of the map here, where you guys are going to need to be fighting towards a point at some stage. He loses his dupe super early, has to emergency dupe into a Juno just to stay alive. Nearly had the kill into Gala, by the way, which would have put him in the lead in terms of the 1v1 score there. But he gets slept by Canale, which is so huge.
Yeah, I mean, again, could have had an opportunity, even though duping a support isn't always the best way to like turn a fight on your own. Could have had a chance to, yeah, get something generated, at least for a one-man army. Now, last time we saw Lijiang from these guys, it was a little closer, but still a win for Virtus.pro. I think that the biggest thing to look to now is Eichenwalde, which looks like absolutely a slam dunk for a one-man army, especially after the last time we saw it. VP weren't able to finish the map, whereas, you know, I think we were really impressed with what we saw from one-man army. So, not doom and gloom here. It's like the Shock, Lucy, and Control map. You just sort of let it go and you move on with your life.
So we've got 3 of the same maps here. So we play Lijiang, Ike, Runesapi, New Junk, and Shambali in the original series, and now in the rematch, it's Lijiang, Ike, Runesapi, the same 3 starting, but then Suravasa, Junkertown, and Junkertown obviously chosen here by VP, given that they were able to beat SSG on that in really good fashion, and they want to repeat that success again. So we'll see if we manage to get that deep into the series, but we're looking at a situation where, you know, I'm also looking towards Runesapi thinking, VP were definitely leading that map by a huge degree, but then Aoma had one of the biggest, I think, push comebacks we've seen. It was a 100-meter comeback. So, you know, I'm not saying those things are impossible, but they're rare enough that, like, when it actually happens, it's like, whoa, what went on there?
So really got rolled.
Aoma plays super well, yeah.
Yeah, so definitely still plenty of opportunities in this series to find an edge, and for a one-man army to find a way back into the game. Eichenwalde, I mean, it just seemed like it was less comfortable in general, right, for Virtus.pro. I think like trying to get their Diva comp going on the attacking side, they lost a huge amount of time in that second phase of the map, whereas, you know, players like Top Dragon were really able to run wild and you know, have a very good impact. So it should be pretty similar compositions, but, you know, we know the Ramatras might need to be traded out in that second phase of the map. We've also seen, what was it, Nuage trying to play Orisa here on defense. One of our teams has sort of gone for that. So, yeah, it was actually Blivioni, I think, actually looking to play different.
We saw that earlier today, and it was it's okay, but that's not something that's going to happen today. One thing you might want to see is VP did play originally the Bapalari, but then we didn't see it today versus EXO, so we might not see the Bapalari again, which is probably ideal. I mean, that's a VP special, but this just might not be the right meta towards it. What we're going to be looking towards, though, is the likelihood of Rajaro going back over towards the Diva, because he played that on this map versus EXO, and he also played that versus One Man Army yesterday as well, whereas Theomatic stayed on the Ram basically the whole time. And I actually do think the Diva is much preferable in Eichenwalde, and that's going to be prevalent on the B point, especially when the high ground, low ground situation is very important, and Ram just can't navigate that at all. So.
Yeah, basically you have to group up, walk into the castle and try and take a fight on the high ground, which is a scary prospect. Canale also likely, probably will switch over to Brig here. We have seen obviously him play a little bit of Brig in these sort of Juno-based comps, but when Ana is viable, instantly sort of switching over to that.
He played Ana in yesterday's Ike versus One Man Army and then also versus EXO, so he actually just might stay on the Ana.
Okay, so on the, all right, what, for both sides of the map?
I'll have to double check.
We'll have to check the tape. That's interesting because that was one of our questions also, because Virtus.pro, their storyline in OWCS was that they didn't have like an easy Brig Ana option, and that we felt like kind of hurt them in that meta where D.Va was just so prevalent. And we had seen Canal pick up a bit of Brig at least yesterday, but you might be right here, Kev. It's still the option to go for the Ana.
So yeah, he goes Brig on the defense A.
Okay.
He might stay on that or he might swap.
That makes sense.
At least for the offense, he's going to start on the Ana because unlikely that, well, there's no Tracer. They know that Top Dragon's probably not going to run that. He's been playing either Mei or the Echo. So that's not really super threatening for the Ana until you push up. And in the neutral, it's going to be really strong. I think Ana's obviously got a lot to bring to bear in the neutral, just with all the utility. And in yesterday's game as well, like when I was watching that with Johnny on the stream, I think I had pegged Kanale as the early play of the match, which is so impactful on all the cooldowns. So to see if he does that again.
Sleep is huge. Obviously, the Bionade is amazing when we have these brawl compositions. Virtus.pro obviously want to play the Pharah here. Top Dragon more of an Echo aficionado, so we will still have that battle in the sky. And the
He's looking for the advantage here. He doesn't want to go for the Pharah 1v1 when that's a 50-50. Rather, you know that Echo can outduel the Pharah for sure when it comes down to it.
There's no...
You do, I think, lose the neutral poke.
Yeah, there's no mate here for a one-man army, right? So, like, generating, like, that wall isolation against someone like Rajaro is only something that, like, Virtus.pro really have access to with their Mei here.
Sorno's already won.
Yeah, very, very low. Getting pressured, I think, constantly by Avo across the map. We actually were on board with him before. Great stickies. Okay, good connection. That's enough to leave Sorno low. Enough for Donghun to donk him, send him off to jail.
They didn't chase him either, so Top Dragon gets to fly back. Knows his cooldown timings perfectly. Now looking to push a little bit further forward as Sorno wants to match over towards the Ashe. So, again, not looking to play too heavily into Top Dragon's Echo, as this is not a front-to-back battle. Like, you can get flanked. We've seen Top Dragon just play over these rooftops, and you can get on top of Sorno's Pharah very easy. And now he's looking to just get on top of the supports as he did in that last fight.
Yeah, I guess Gala is next up to sort of mark the position of Top Dragon. Obviously, the computer shop taken up by Virtus.pro here. Top Dragon opts to play from above. The Jara is healing.
Where's he going?
Okay, he's far forward. Nemesis formula gave him that. Yeah, but look how far back the Ana is. This is such an easy assassination. Oh, the timing not quite there. I appreciate Canal for trying to predict it, but he was left on an absolute island. Still over the point of Virtus.pro, and they do get a tick, but this is bound to be short-lived without the healing of that Ana. Nemesis form, okay. We're seeing a dupe of a Ramatra here, so a one-man army are going to be a literal brick wall to try and get through. We do have an orbital ray from Gala. Throws it down. Alpha doesn't have theirs yet. Top Dragon gets a free annihilation. That's pretty good. And Rajara is able to find Donghun anyway. Top Dragon's good for one. And
off the map.
To a coach gun by the looks of things. That's huge.
No way.
Top Dragon
Sorno's on 1 HP as well. He needed to trade Sorno. No way. And now Virtus.pro can take this point.
It is a good bob, though. Sorno has to wait this one out. He's done his classic play of, like, wrapping around, getting up onto the high ground of the hunting lodge. Can Rajara hold out? Yes, with Annihilation he can. He has the durability to do so. Avo is tracing Sorno's position, apparently. He's now made his way up into that lodge, and they've got it. That is such a weird fight for Virtus.pro. Losing Top Dragon there is devastating.
Yeah, this is one of those situations where they really wanted to retake. We saw this from Funny Ash earlier today as well. No, actually, I saw this from, I believe, Exo, where they tried to do the same thing, and it's like, just greedy. I mean, were you really in position to go for a retake there? I just don't believe it. I don't believe it. I think you're in a much better spot to just go for an early play on B, and they're going to have to pay for that now. They made their bed, and they'll have to sleep in it. Down extra ultimates, and Top Dragon was hard carrying on that defense until he went down to the coach gun off the map from Sorno, because he had the first ultimate in the lobby. He had duplication up before anybody else had anything, and copy the ram and an annihilation to play directly into orbital ray.
Still a Ramatra comp here for Virtus.pro. They haven't had to play out in the open, in fairness. Dio's able to get out of the blizzard. Rajaro, hot on his heels though, wants to try and take this enemy tank down. Gonna be a big ask, but he's sitting on annihilation after the fact that Sorno has been massive since that switch over towards Ashe. Found Donghun in the previous fight. Now Top Dragon going down. A one-man army are actually unable to make any use of the high ground advantage here because the cast's been moving this whole time. Rajara's been keeping them pinned inside the building. Now upstairs as well, they still won't have the space to work with. Bob will go up there. Sorno needs to be careful. This is going to be Top Dragon fully committing for this kill. But Ava's already gone down. The longer Sorno stays alive, the more impact he can have. Eventually Theo gets him. It has to extend deep into the backline for it.
But the trades are much better though. Virtus.pro just getting way more, and the payload has not stopped still. So even if VP loses, which they don't expect because they're in a good spot here, and Nail's even going to get out scot-free as well with the help of Gala. They're on point to get the cap now, and Theo's already half.
There's the Ray. Tough job for Theo here. Obviously, he has Annihilation available, but it's all about timing. Bob comes out, slept instantly. That's the Ash difference for you, folks. Canal able to bring him down. Theomatic in trouble. No chance to use Annihilation. What happens there? And Theo just maybe wants to save it, but this is playing out so differently to the last time we saw VP on Iconvolder.
They need a good reset here, and I don't just mean like resetting the spawn. They need to reset their entire coordination and maybe at a mental stage as well, because this has just been sloppy. This entire B point. You start with, you know, the weird retake with this, you know, super optimistic orbital ray coming in, and they just get farmed running through the doors, and that entire B was a wash. I don't think VP stopped pushing for a single second.
Yep, they have not broken stride at all. Okay, so Nano here. Probably for Rajaro this time. No fire to give it to. Careful. Rajaro backs up. I think that was Top Dragon's cooldowns that brought him down to less than half. And yes, there's going to be a Nano for the Ramatra. Scary for Alpha. Torpedoes at the ready, but Donghun already got picked up again. Always seems to be in the way of Rajaro. Annihilation for Theomatic, though, has to clean this up. Top Dragon with a dupe of a mate. Wall can catch out. Stagger if needed. And finally, that's the it feels like the first one fight, at least after point A, for a one-man army.
That's what they need. So here it is. You can certainly hold here. It's not impossible for one-man army to just kind of prevent Virtus.pro from finishing the map. 2:30 is it's a good amount of time, but it'll go down very quickly once one-man army can just dig their heels in as Top Dragon now moves over towards the main, which on this part of the map is super impactful. So great choice there. Goes from the duplicate on the main to actually selecting the main.
Up at the corner is Rajaro. Dynamite there, no connect, but Alpha just got picked off by Canale. Man, this Ash is so ridiculous. Every bit of a kit's being used to give an edge to Virtus.pro. And up they come now. Carp with 2 players on it, moving up. 2 minutes left in the round still. Coming up on a Bob soon for Sauna surely has to be a death knell. Canal wants to get aggressive. Looking over towards the other direction.
VP got 4 ults, by the way, and one-man army have none.
That's going to be tough. Avo on the Venture. Okay. Sleep Dart being held right now by Canale. And Donghun and Theomatic get frozen. That Venture needs to get back to the rest of the team. But there's no one left to contest. Massive time bank, all things considered for Virtus.pro. What an attack side.
This is really, really bad for one-man army. I mean, obviously because they're losing, but consider the fact that in the original game yesterday, EMEA won Ike, and they prevented VP from full capping the map. So once you put into that perspective, this is a far cry from what we saw out of EMEA yesterday, and VP are looking in control. And even in a situation where, you know, it's just not even like VP are just abusing Diva or anything like that. They're basically in a mirror for the most part. And you have to just go back to that sloppy B. They finally won our man army that has dug their heels in slightly on C, and what do we see? Instant pick from Sauna. One-man army goes right back to spawn. Have to hard respect that. They don't have any else to play through. It's a fresh swap on the main from Top Dragon, so he's got nothing to work with. And the momentum from VP is just plenty to push on through, get 4 ults for the final push, and super split defense at the end where you see 2 fights happening at the same time and VP win both. So, yeah, a lot to be desired there for one-man army, because 2:30 was the time mentioned. They got 146 at the end, so 1 push on C.
That's basically all it took. Let's go for a listen. Let's hear what the vibes are like here for Aoma.
Oh, what's up? Cover. 뭐 He's good. Is he good? Oh. See? 떨어지네. Okay. I can turn on my passive. 하나? I need it. I think Ana. I saw Ana. Ram. I think May. Ram.
May left.
Dashi. Can I just try echo? By the way. Yeah.
Okay.
We can think left. 3, 2, 1. Hyper.
Watch out, Ram.
May.
My turn. Alright, back. Ram's half. Ram low.
Dashi. She roll. She there.
Oh, fucking shit.
I think maybe we can go. Don't be stuck. They don't have a
I like Donghun doing the calling there. When he said swing left, he was the first out there with that shield bash. And that's what one-man army have to do, basically. Try and find a way, get into that computer store as a unit. But they are getting picked off by Sauna.
They killed Sauna, but at the cost of losing the fight overall, which also puts VP slightly further ahead in terms of ultimates. And again, low HP here, trying to keep Top Dragon alive. They got that computer stall. What else can they get? They can push past, and Sleep Under Theomatic's just going to cause issues here. They have to fall back. Look at their HP bars.
Yeah, Avo's
nearly dead.
Just dancing inside the vortex, virtually. Burning down. So much of this just tick damage. Still, it's going to be a trade of those ashes. And again, without a further stagger, that will be an attacker's spawn advantage. Avo and Sauna both back, but it's a longer walk for the latter. Focusing
out of range.
Out range slightly. Top Dragon knows he can't get too close. Theomatic put to sleep here, so the tempo now starting to drift away for a one-man army, and that Ashe is back in the fray for Virtus.pro. Here is the Orbital Ray. Alpha doesn't have theirs yet. Again, Theo caught in the Blizzard.
Might not have needed the double ultimate there, but they're going to win the fight. It's going to get costly here as one-man army has retained a bunch of ultimates. They will lose time here depending on how many more staggers. I don't think they'll get in because Alpha is pretty quick and should be back with the team. And now you're looking at 4 ults for Aoma. So this has to be the push. If they do anything wrong here, they could get full held. So super important that this goes flawlessly for them. And there are still good ultimates on Virtus.pro, so it's not guaranteed.
This is a must-win for a one-man army. Nano boost is a big difference making it. Theo slept. Not a great start. Now they're a little bit out of position. Avo's forced to back up. Cloud has to ice block those. Now we have a dupe here of a Mei. This is good. Cloud's in trouble. Very caught. Yep, Theomatic able to turn around and send a left hook to fell the Mei. And everyone trying to back out of the Blizzard. Only Bob seemed to be caught in it there, but that's a good way to neutralize that ultimate. And yeah, on the back of those abilities, the one-man army are able to find that advantage. They're going to be on the road here on Eichenwalde.
I actually don't know that VP need to get that aggressive. I think they were considering that they were more behind than they actually were. They were down 2 ultimates, but that's not the end of the world. Avo has been having a rough time, so still doesn't have the Bob, and VP just kind of throw bodies at one-man army in a choke point where Aoma can just get really good high ult value. And Virtus.pro, you don't have a Blizzard there. Top Dragon does. It's a really dangerous, or rather, one-man army do have good ultimates to play through there. I think Top Dragon wasn't quite on that hero, but in any case, VP may just have overstepped a little.
Okay, holding on to the Annihilation at least. Orbital Ray didn't need to be used for a one-man army. Will that be enough to stop Virtus.pro if they try and push up here? Still Ramatra comps, no mention, no hint of Diva here. And Avo lets the Bob go. This is going to clear the room for sure. Another nice moment from Top Dragon. Switching over to the Mei here, off the Echo, he's still having a big impact. Theo wants to push in here. Both Ramatras sped boosted, hard to keep track of them. And Alfred finding the opportune moment here to let this Juno ultimate rip. Gala's built theirs as well. Doesn't matter, Avo's dealt with Canale, so now it's up to Gala to do most of the healing. It might necessitate that ultimate. Yeah, it comes down with the Annihilation. And they've used it in a quick breath to take Donghun down. One-man army obviously advised, yeah, not to spend ultimates here, but Virtus.pro get a foothold now on B.
So this is the problem now, because A did take us some time already, and if that wasn't bad enough, consider that VP pushed through B basically in one push. We discussed that, the fact that VP didn't have a slowdown of the payload whatsoever. One-man army already have their first significant reset here on B, so we're looking over towards a situation where capping through the entire map is going to be significantly more difficult now, as at least they have some ultimates to play through. What kind of momentum can we find here? They would ideally like to spread these ultimates out and get a couple of good pushes here, and some early picks without even using ultimates would be ideal.
Canale here struggling to keep Rojaro up, but a Bionade's going to help, that's for sure. Nano, will it be just used to get him out of that orbital ray? It's hard to say. This pick on Sauna is big. Rojaro with Nano is just going to get crunched there. I guess it kind of evens out against the damage increase. It's not great though, that ultimate. That one goes down the Gurgler.
Sauna also dying there, or rather Avo getting a pick somewhere is going to be costly for Virtus.pro, but yeah, not a Nano. Nano is not going to be enough to keep Rojaro up in that situation, and missleeped up from Canale means that Theomatic gets to stay in there, continually damage Rojaro out, so that could have been a difference maker as well. So this is what one-man army need. They still have reasonable ults coming up to a timing for Bob as well, but Theomatic is caught.
Okay, good Blizzard, but there's not a lot of follow-up damage really at all, is there? Great wall from Top Dragon, I think. Yeah, that one is lateral, so Virtus.pro actually can't get through it. They have to break every section of it to try and access. Man, Top Dragon is sick right now. This is
got a touch as well.
Good.
Look at point.
Yeah, they are going to get there, no doubt about it. They've already wrapped in to cut off any reinforcements. Rojaro and Gala desperately trying to hold on to this, but one-man army, okay, they are here to play, and they're going to have a time banking extension to get to the end of the map.
What a recovery. That is incredibly good for one-man army. That's what they needed, right? 2 really strong fights in a row where they can just wipe Virtus.pro, not lose too much on their side, gain a bunch of momentum, and they're actually not too far off from the time that VP had coming into C. It's about a 20 to 30 second difference, so they can absolutely get time here with Dynamite from Sauna, who, by the way, has gone down to Avo twice in a row. That's a very impactful first pick.
Yeah, just the winning out of that Ash duel takes so much pressure off of the rest of a one-man army. And then you've got Top Dragon, who's just been exemplary in all roles this map. Juno, you've got to respect it. Oh, brings it down. Annihilation got used there. Theomatic says, all right, I'll let this happen. I'll back up, go for a reset. They're going to have to down with Donghun out of the picture. Jari's not in a position to punish here. He needs to be careful. Extended pretty deep. Here comes the Bob. That's from Avo. Blizzard also going to get thrown there by Top Dragon. Is there a kill? Better believe it. It's Cloud. Frozen stiff amidst that field. And now the Orbital Raid comes out. A one-man army are behind in time bank. They've not been quite as swift here, but this is still good to keep them in the game well and truly. Rujaro got nanoed there, maybe just to keep him alive, but now he wants to come forward to that Nemesis form. Donghun seems like a great target to try and work down, but the Brig is healthy, and Gala is dead with ultimate.
They have to cap with time here, otherwise they're in a draw-only scenario. That is not what you want for Aoma. Rujaro down, this is a good situation. What's Cloud going to do here? He's frozen up, storing the payload, has a Blizzard. He might just end up popping it. You want to be able to stall somehow. You're going to die. Okay, that's fine. You get the respawn here. Orbital Ray to go for the retake. Sauna now to be able to slow things down further by going Venture. What about the Blizzard for Cloud?
Virtus.pro, big ultimates here. Could be game changers. First, a little bit of a stall. Here comes the Ray. Annihilation used by Theomatic, but he's surrounded, frozen, stolen. That's the answer for Virtus.pro. A one-man army stumble right before the last block. And now Avo probably doesn't want to hang around for too long. They want to get eliminated, but the stagger is going to be absolutely devastating. This puts a one-man army below 20 seconds with his last hit.
They can't cap with time, and Alpha's going to get staggered further here. Maybe? All too fast. Juno, a little bit sneaky. Getting over the wall. That is critical, actually. No, wait, staying alive here for Alpha. Wait, whoa, oh my goodness.
This is it. Devastating here for a one-man army. Virtus.pro push up and go for a bit of a stagger. Avo's in trouble. Sorta descends upon him. Drill first. At least it'll be traded out, but Virtus.pro have an Annihilation to work with, and that card is going to be unbesmirched, untouched, unruffled. And Virtus.pro take Archenvolder away.
That is brutal. Absolutely brutal,
man,
because you start to believe Aoma got so close, man. They got so close, and you're thinking, okay, they're just one more good push. 30 seconds left to go. You get this done. You get a little bit of time on board. It's still a playable map. You're not in a draw-only scenario. But then you're thinking, okay, now this is looking a little bit more Jova. It's going to be a draw-only scenario. They're going to cap in OT. But okay, you still get to at least play for the map and force a draw. And unlucky for VP, that would be 2 draws in 2 days for them if that were the case. But then Alpha dies, and you watch his POV. You think he's out. You think he's clear. And like a horror movie, the 4th act arrives, and Bro is unfortunately not in the clear, and he gets taken down.
Yeah, that hurts. That really hurts, of course, because this is a map that you were hoping to take away, I think, if you want to, get good results against this Virtus.pro team, but not to be. We actually saw a very similar situation between EXO and Virtus.pro on this same map. It was Ange on the Brig. Didn't die, I think, but had to use Rally to stay alive there, and left EXO with one less ultimate to come in for that last fight. So that little push-up stagger is looking pretty signature, I think, from Virtus.pro. So they realize that they can actually come forward and catch people out. And Juno obviously, doesn't really have the ability to sort of speed out unless she uses that hyper ring, and can get a little bit caught. And for whatever reason, Alpha thinks they're safe behind that wall.
Oh, well, he used everything. He actually mostly got out, and the wall was good, but just didn't expect that everyone was just going to keep rushing through because his team was kind of there. It's like, maybe I'm probably safe now. And to be fair to Alpha, it wasn't even just him. He dies, and then the rest of Aoma fall shortly afterwards because the entire fight takes place outside the castle gates. And, well, that's not where the point is. And the payload needs to be touched. No one can go for it, and it's all over. Honestly, though, Mitch, I think at that point, as heartbreaking as it is, I think the map was fairly done, given that if they cap in OT anyway, you're looking to draw a scenario, and that is extremely difficult, and best you can do is just draw the map, and you'd still be at a deficit, unfortunately.
That's right, yeah. A good time bank still for VP, like almost 2 minutes, is definitely within the realm of possibility to cap A. Well, they're not guaranteed. This is a diva-less map as well. It was only Ramatras all the way through. Virtus.pro were just convinced that they win the mirror. So far they have been, even if the edges have been small in some places, thanks to the efforts of Avo and Top Dragon, for example, who've done very well at DPS here, but they get it done without, switching off this comp at all, and maybe they're just priced into this Ramatra comp in general. We'll find out either way on Runasafi. That's an opportunity, of course, to roll the RAM out yet again. Quick break, we'll be back here for map 3, what may be a decider if we don't see a one-man army. Pull their socks up. It's backs to the wall for a one-man army after their map pick ends in shambles. They can't quite get the map done and force at least an overtime against Virtus.pro, who looked to just be a little better and definitely came out swinging. The last fight with a Blizzard and an Orbital Ray tipped the scales in the favor of the Bears.
And now the one-man army needs to make lightning strike twice on Runasapi as miracles required here. They had a miracle last time. You saw yesterday it was a comeback, maybe one of the biggest comebacks we've seen on Push anywhere. It was a 3 meter to 112 meter gap at 3 minutes. So 3 minutes for, well, actually 254 if we're going to be clear, for VP to get about 112. Not quite the 230 that SSG got versus Ents, but it's in that realm. Ents couldn't make that comeback happen. One-man army actually did. So can they get on top of these neutrals on Runasapi? Because trying to get that comeback twice in a row is going to be a little bit too wild, even for a one-man army. So ideally, they just don't allow VP to get that lead in the first place.
Yeah, they look great. That bounce back was incredible, but it definitely felt like Virtus.pro took their foot off the gas. They really allow one-man army to get into the game. Avo was always all of a sudden taking these ridiculous flank angles and punishing them. Top Dragon was tough to deal with, and we really appreciated like Theo's positioning to set up these very gainful fights. So it will be now the brig for Canale. So we do see Virtus.pro finally go to that more standard backline setup.
He did play this yesterday on Runasapi as well, so it's going to be the run back of this composition. I think this is just the favorite composition for most teams. I think basically every team will run something like this on Runasapi now. And no Diva yet for Vijara actually ever in the series. Top Dragon instantly has the ice block.
God, a dynamite. Man, that was beautiful from Sauna. Torpedoes come in, but he shrugs them off. Because nothing's going to ruin his day after getting a big pick on an enemy Mei. Or at least being a big part of that elimination. Okay, great start here to Virtus.pro. Well, we saw this from the last time. The point is to keep this pressure on through the whole map.
So the issue now is if one-man army allow another neutral to go Virtus.pro's way, then you're going to go to a third fight, which is ultimate advantage for VP, and then suddenly 112 in 3 minutes sounds like a very, very realistic situation for VP. And I don't think they'll want a comeback from one-man army again, not twice in 2 days. So I think this is a very important fight straight away for EMEA to be able to take.
That is big snowball potential. Still a fight that sees no ultimates here. That's why they've kept talking about the neutral here. Dynamite doesn't quite go where Soren would have liked it to. And the front lines are currently clashing together. Cloud trying to reposition a bit more back behind Rajaro. And we'll see the Duke out. Now it's a little bit scary. You're a little exposed here as you're backing up this high ground. A wall gets thrown up for Virtus.pro to try and protect them from the projectiles as they do so.
Regala.
Okay. Already the Ray going to get used. I mean, if you have an ultimate advantage in this first fight, go for it. Sauna, they might get caught here. One more spike. Oh, good strafing, but it's just not enough. And there's no help at all for Sauna on an absolute island. Now, can Virtus.pro find an advantage from that Ray? Not at all. The Blizzard actually comes up from Top Dragon after those heroics, and he can use that. Bob, if needed, which is just not. One-man army fight back before things get out of hand.
Yeah, no cap to come on through. That's the most important part here. One-man army are able to slow that one down enough that despite it not going well for them early on, still a kill from Top Dragon onto Sauna. It just took him a very long time to find those right clicks. Very agile looking Ashe there from Sauna to be able to dodge most of those, but Gale having a super early orbital ray should have been the fight win for Virtus.pro. However, one-man army fight on. They got the Blizzard and they retained the rest of the ultimates, so no disasters here. Not DEFCON 5. 45 meters. It's super manageable. And as I mentioned, Mitch, no cap.
Force back now to fight on this slope, though. Here's Bob. Sorta immediately wants to try and get out of Bob's purview. Does not want to take any of that extra damage. Good pressure, though, on Donghun forces him back, and Avo's taken down by Rajaro. But someone's mad. Thematic here with the Annihilation. Cloud trying to create that spacing. The wall was mostly ignored, and now they're going to be caught as Thematic returns to the fight itself. And this has got to be a checkpoint here for a one-man army, or at least very near to. Great comeback. 2-1 fights in a row.
Yeah, they should get it now because it's going to be a long respawn plus the walk back time for VP. So at minimum flip, actually maybe not the cap for the checkpoint, but they'll get the flip, which is step 1. And VP touch though, there's no traces, no fast heroes. So if they don't, no, they're not going to get there in time. They could speed out.
There's the wall.
Blocked.
Yep, no chance for Rajaro to touch there. Now Virtus.pro still have to fight. Okay, well they have a lot to use and they use most of it. Blizzard comes out, Orbital Ray also committed. And one-man army try and fall back off this as quickly as they can. Sauna wants to try and cut them off here.
So that's manageable. Only Theo down. You're waiting on one player. Now reset the mech now all the way back to mid, but they got the job done. They got the cap. That's the important part now. They don't have to deal with the butt scratch later on. They can just sort of roll through once they get the advantage, and ultimates are coming online. Blizzard for top dragon. It's going to be very important.
Yeah, there's no ult advantage for Virtus.pro to speak of. They have to fight they have to fight this annihilation into Blizzard, really. Blizzard instantly used anti-great effect. Rajaro caught before he can even ult. Surely he doesn't think of going for it now, not with 4 players up. Ice Wall used? Okay, perhaps. Top Dragon took a lot of damage there and has to go for that defensive utility. Gala's able to catch him out before we can do anything, and yes, Theomatic can't get away from the enemy Ramatra. So this will be a checkpoint now for Virtus.pro.
Yep, and some light staggers here as well, so it'll make it very difficult to contest in a future fight. It'll just mean a decent amount of push, so we're expecting like, what, 80 meters out of VP. It's all done for... Do we have to wait a little bit? Okay, actually, you know, one-man army should be able to get back in time to contest nice and early. And I don't think there's any huge lurks from VP that they can do with positioning. No big ultimates. Not like going to catch somebody with a stray blizzard here.
Rajaro just trying to catch someone too far forward. Timing that was just a little bit early. Now he's dealing with a very disgruntled Theomatic. And we'll be able to push him back off this high ground.
They do manage to get the 80, so they do get that underway because Rajaro got a little bit aggressive and did not get punished there.
He's a bit isolated though.
He's stuck in the side though.
Okay, here comes Bob, trying to save the day for Sauna. Yeah, Rajaro gets out of that little hidey hole pretty comfortably. Top Dragon too far forward and ice blocked while the rest of his team, frankly, just left him alone. And here we go, look at it now, triple digits for Virtus.pro.
Yep. Upsetting because one-man army were close to nearly 5 ultimates here. They wanted more. They wanted to see who else is available. And Theo could be in the open. But a friendly Hyper Ring from Alpha is going to be able to get their tank back in towards spawn, and now the 5-man is alive. But as you said, Mitch, triple digits on board. 112 will certainly be there. This time taking 3 more minutes for VP to get than before. One-man army has a much better chance of making the comeback happen, although it will still be a pretty significant comeback.
These ults need to be rationed though. They need to be careful about them. That could have been an insta-pick there, but Rajaro gives up on chasing Avo down. Perhaps to his detriment. Ice Wall thrown up and gets Cloud at least away from Theomatic. Only 1 ultimate drawn out of a 1-man army though, and the fight's still going. Here's the Ray. Can he turn this into anything? No blizzard for Rajaro. There's no way he's getting out of that. He's very dead. Blizzard from Cloud though. Stops any follow-up on Rajaro. Orbital Ray comes out though from a 1-man army as they are trying to defend this. Pushing up with it. Rajaro with the Annihilation. That could have been a little bit too much to commit here. Can he survive it? Theomatic's going to have one of his own now, and the rally for Donghun feels like a difference maker there. But a 1-man army do have to give up everything they built.
I was going to say, it took them a while to do any damage to Rajaro. They just had 3 members there looking at him, didn't really shoot him. But it works out for the better because it's a slower death for Rajaro, plus you got the Annihilation out at the cost of also playing the rally. And you mentioned this, Mitch, you'd like it to be cheaper for 1-man army. And I'm going to say here for VP, I think they come out of that one ahead because they are leading massively, about 70-ish meters. And 1-man army have to use a bunch of ults just to get out of spawn.
Rajaro just ignored Theomatic there, excuse me, coming with that speed boost. That really split the fight up instantly. He was able to wrap around and hit Top Dragon from the side. And Canal, the one credited with that elimination, but what an important pick to find against the May going down first. And Theomatic not long after. This means that Virtus.pro will very quickly be back on an offensive footing.
Yep. You're not seeing the fumbling that VP had on this map versus EMEA yesterday, so you do need some of that as well if you're EMEA. So you have to get this comeback going. It's not where you know, it's not the ideal situation because it's 2 maps in a row, twice on Runasapi, 2 days in a row where you just had such a massive deficit. I mean, I did mention it's more comebackable with 55 to 120, but it's still such a huge gap with barely any time left. And 1-man army haven't seen a single lick of distance for like 5 minutes now, it feels like.
The push up there, Rajaro. That was an early ice block, I think, for Top Dragon as well. Little concerned about Theomatic coming in from the side. It's going to be a bop now. Can Avo get his off? No! Gets caught out, and the ice block really only delayed the inevitable for Top Dragon. Virtus.pro do spend there, but fair enough. They're rolling into yet another wave of those ultimates, including, of course, the Orbital Ray. I mean, a full cap of this map is absolutely on the table here.
Yep. This is going to be all the ultimates. 1-man army have to throw everything. Blizzard straight away. What is the catch?
Rajaro walls up, hopes to stay alive through this. No one's looking at him. They're trying to get the bot away. Eventually, he will emerge, but what can he do from here? Very much isolated with Bob in his face. No, a 1-man army can steal this away. And this is where the comeback needs to begin. We are talking multiple 1 fights consecutively.
They need Gala.
Can he get out of this?
They need Gala down.
Donghun wants it.
Oh, can't quite catch him. He's a Brig versus a Juno, and the Juno is obviously going to be too slippery. That would have been a huge stagger. But unfortunately, that means now Virtus.pro get all 5 alive, and as I mentioned too much, every ult that EMEA had, they had to spend in spawn.
And that's been the story for this map so far. They've just never been able to use them aggressively. Here's one, though, at least. They can turn around with this. Orbital Ray comes down from a one-man army, but the Annihilation from Rajaro is there, and both teams match the rays. Once again, it's EMEA coming off second best. Heartily so. And this will put them under 1 minute, having to fight out with multiple fight wins and no ultimates to bail them out of this entrapment.
60 seconds.
And to sort of, compare this to the game yesterday, by this time for One Man Army, despite being behind on Runasapi, they were deep into VP territory, threatening the win. And right now, today, the opposite is completely true. I mean, you're about 2 meters away from VP finishing the map. They're not going to, they don't have to. Avo's even got to go to Widowmaker here. That's just a clear motion of desperation.
It didn't look too bad, actually, last time we tried for it, but hard to see how it's going to save them. There's a lot to block line of sight here. Rajaro, though, goes maybe a little bit too far there. Top Dragon, with the help of Theo, was able to get rid of him. Still, we're bereft of ultimates for the most part here. Next one will be the Bob. But I don't think Virtus.pro are in a position to fight for it. They'll take a win in overtime if they can get it by the looks. However, Wanus
shaky hands
donked by Canale. By time, stall things out to overtime. Cloud and Canale versus 3 now. With rally in play, they've turned a 2v4 into a 2 versus 2. That is ridiculous. They can't believe it. W-Ange comes out in the chat here. God, the catch and strays. That's brutal stuff. But now in the overtime, the reinforcements have arrived. What a ridiculous play. 2v4, no problem. Virtus.pro are looking to end this now. There's a one-man army in overtime are forced to throw themselves at the bot, and that wall is going to make it all the more difficult. A clean sweep of maps here. Virtus.pro get that lower bracket buff that we've always seen from them. They're going to want to take this away pretty quickly. Top Dragon, all we can do is draw a little bit of blood, but we're getting close to a full cap anyway. 3-0 drubbing for Virtus.pro. They want it more.
The only thing VP don't get there, as they get everything else, is they didn't finish the entire map because, well, as soon as the contest stops, the overtime wick just disappears and the map is done. But you saw the GGs being called out 10 seconds prior to the map actually ending because everyone knows it was basically done for. And a map that's all about momentum is another situation where VP gets away with all the gold. At least EMEA put up a much better fight on Runasapi, but it ends the same way. Well, actually, it doesn't end the same way. Not this time. It does not end the same way. It ends the way that VP wanted to end yesterday. They got what they wanted this time instead.
That's right. Yeah, I'm sad that this is not a repeat performance of what we've seen from their previous match, but at the same time, it's obviously great to see VP performing on the level they are doing right now. They're eager to, claw their way back into the finals. Let's take a look at some of the highlights of this match, which ended up being a clean 3-0. And quite frankly, VP just played it so well. They have such a good understanding of this composition and their win conditions.
They're looking vastly better than they did yesterday. I think that is the biggest take home here. And again, they're sticking to the Ramatra style. I think they've definitely been sort of converted to that school of thought, which I don't think takes much convincing for Rajaro. He's more than happy to sort of play this. And again, we definitely had parts of these, games that went down to old economy, like who has more, abilities, but really a lot of the time, those early picks that were being generated. And there were some pretty good ones from a one-man army at moments, right? Top Dragon on this map has a good time. That one, though, is just a head scratcher. The coach gun, in theory, to knock that. He's in Annihilation. He's duped out in Annihilation. He's in such a powerful spot. But this run out of spawn, you have Blizzard and you have the Orbital Ray to come out with. It is so hard to win against this comp. So nice composure, I think, for VP to end up holding off and winning the map here.
Yeah, they won every map. All the maps that they got today were in much more one-sided fashion than yesterday anyway, if we talk about even how they won. So that was just super important. And we go back to the moment here as well, where just a push out of spawn, push into the open territory, obviously catching EMEA off guard, and then of course ending on Runasapi, where EMEA was really hoping to capture lightning in a bottle again, but it just slips through their fingers because, well, VP is so good on this map. They've got such a good understanding of this RAM matchup as well, and the thing that really proves it is the fact that we now also see them being able to play both Diva and RAM, and having the flexibility to move between a couple of different styles and have Sauna go between the Pharah and also the Ashe. This is a very flexible team as far as the Juno meta goes. I mean, they're the team that are playing more picks than what we're seeing out of most other teams, and picks that actually make sense as well, because, we're not talking about strange things that EXO did. This is a Virtus.pro team that have a lot of different good looks, and now Space Station are going to be their next opponent, where it's another rematch in another situation. It was a 3-2, a 6-mapper that was.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure Space Station is going to take a very close look at what VP showed us today in their match. I do love the flexibility that we're seeing from them. Sauna earning themselves the player of the match honors. I mean, yeah, Sauna, we said has to pick up the slack, right? Since we're not seeing Shockwave in here right now. So it's a different look VP, but a very strong look they've been showing us thus far.
Yeah, I think crucially, like Sauna has shown the ability to fit into these comps really well. And again, like Avo's been a pretty, consistent player over this series. Sauna gives the team the option, obviously, to make that switch between hit scan and also that projector, which is, still in this day and age, it's fairly uncommon. Leaving Cloud just to really focus on like Mei duties a lot of the time. Sauna's definitely had that flexibility when we talk about like the slight variations that you get in these, Juno's comps. I think that's been a big difference. Sauna's looked very, very good here and characteristically loves to flank on Icon Volta once they get control of the point. And that one kill there is what really breaks the back of the defenders.
Also rocking the McDonald's skin, so, gotta respect that.
Classic Mayhem throwback. That's like Swoosh carrying an inflatable palm tree level throwback.
The shop's open. You got to get the original Mayhem skins again. So that's what that's all about. But I also like the fact that Cloud also brings out a Tracer sometimes as well. So they have the capability to play, the standard Mei Ashe kind of look. But then either player can look over towards the Tracer. Sauna's Tracer has been lights out as well if he plays it. So his hero pool is fantastic for this particular meta because he's got basically, 3 of the most important heroes that you would want to DPS between Tracer, Pharah, and then the Ashe. So they've covered all the bases. So I think VP are one of the more flexible teams in this meta. I think that's a huge boon.
Yeah, absolutely. As you just mentioned as well, Mitch, right? Like with Rajaro being able to switch between the Ram and the Diva, and in this very format where the maps are preset, so you can get pretty unlucky. This flexibility is really helping them out a lot, and that's what kept them alive. Let's take a look at our bracket here in our EMEA region, as that was our last match of the day. We still have more to come tomorrow, of course. So this means that we get the lower final pairing of VP and SSG. Once again, it's going to be a rematch. They met in the upper bracket semifinals was that yesterday? No, today. Yesterday. What is happening?
Yesterday, yeah.
What is time?
That's right, upper semis.
Yeah, well, honestly, yesterday, that was a long day. All right. So, yeah, but that one went the distance. I'm interested to see if it can go the distance again or if they have leveled up. Space Station showing us a different look today, relying a lot more on that Ram rather than the Diva, which is what they mainly played yesterday. So I'm sure it's going to be a different kind of match we get to see. ENCE, of course, made it to the grand finals, so congratulations. They're sitting, they're chilling, they're waiting their opponents. But that wraps up our EMEA portion of things. Alas, we're not quite done yet. We still have some highlight plays that we want to share with you because there were plenty to choose from today. Even though the matches didn't go the distance the same they went yesterday, there were still some very highlight-worthy plays.
Let's roll it.
It is, of course, Rajaro just lives. He lives, gets killed, the baby Diva gets the remake.
2 bunny blasts.
Yeah, man, it was disgusting. I mean, this was, and how many Rajaro clips do we had so many because he had made so many huge plays in that match.
Yeah, like Rudisapi as well, like going upstairs, just getting 2 frags, and there's like one where like again he kills like a brig in baby Diva form after finding another kill, gets a remake, goes and slaps him silly yet again. Look at this. I mean, you guys have been knocked off the map.
Breaks the ankles of Alisu is there as well.
Actually,
like,
the
Diva should have actually just killed him, but he just dodged it.
Yeah, this one, for all you new viewers, this is Overwatch. Yeah,
have fun.
This is peak Overwatch.
This
actually,
is peak Overwatch.
Absolute cinema. Yeah, this will be a great illustration for Johnny. Love to see
break that one down.
Break that one down.
I mean, to be fair, the breakdown really is that SSG kind of just were a little bit more reserved in their ultimates, and they had a couple left at the end. Sparker staying alive here, and I think I said it live in the broadcast. It was the super late Bob that cleaned everything up once every ultimate was used and no one died.
It's that Hardy spacing as well. Like, he has gotten in between Vistola and the whole rest of his backline there. I think he threw a vortex and then ran into it, which is really nice. Pi was the savior on this map. Yeah, no, well,
they are kids,
because they're Overwatch gamers. Yeah, so it's not
they
an
are
issue.
kids, even worse.
Certainly not a problem. I mean, this was This was awesome. And Kai was like not taking the duels aggressively against Sparker, but man, when push came to shove and when the chips were down, he like grappled a card, find a kill. It's like stops around from ending like with 2.5 meters or something, or 0.25 meters or something like that, and then just is able to find a huge kill on the enemy Widow while standing out in the open. That's sick, and that's Kai for you. He gives you those moments like that. It's not always. There are some maps where he just goes off the boil entirely. It's how the guy's feeling on a given day apparently. But when he's on, yeah, he's a weapon.
Yeah, that was also the moment where the friendship ended between SSG and Junkertown for good this time. So yeah, that one's that.
That's a permaban in future, I think.
Get rid of it, yeah.
Especially versus VP tomorrow, who also full held them, so might have to be excluded from the map pool in the future drafting. Of course, teams actually draft the maps, so.
Yeah, there's no map banning, I believe, here in the FACEIT League either. So that was rough. You just take it. You just take it. Well, again, as you said,
I think they might be banning. I don't know. I'm pretty sure.
I think they're just picking. They're not banning.
Okay, we'll have to.
Who are we to know?
We'll get confirmation on that.
Exactly. We get confirmation. For now, though, that is a wrap on our EMEA portion of the day. So, Mitch, Kevin, thank you both so much for covering all the action. And we will see the conclusion of it all tomorrow. So make sure to tune back in for that. However, we're not done here just yet. We, of course, have the FACEIT League Season 2 playoffs NA starting. After a quick break, we see you on the other side.